So, my roommate, Dave, recently picked up a hobby that I thought was kind of quirky but ultimately harmless, collecting vintage typewriters. It all started when he found an old Underwood at a thrift store. Dave brought it home, polished it up, and placed it on our living room table like a proud parent. I didn't think much of it until he brought home a second, then a third, and soon our apartment began to look like the set of a 1950s newsroom. I joked that he was going to start wearing fedoras and smoking cigars, but Dave just laughed it off and promised he'd stop at 10. Just 10, he said. I swear. Fast forward a month, and the apartment had become a veritable museum of mechanical click-clacks. 10 typewriters turned into 20, and I began to suspect there was more metal than furniture in our home. The strangest thing happened one evening while I was watching TV. I heard the familiar clatter of keys being struck, but Dave was in his room, and all the typewriters were silent and still. That was until they weren't. Suddenly, they sprang to life as if possessed by the spirit of some long-dead secretary with a knack for choreography. I watched in disbelief as the machine started typing out the lyrics to I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys in perfect unison. I called Dave, who emerged from his room looking as puzzled as I was. We stood together, watching as the typewriters moved with an eerie synchronicity, typing line after line of boy band nostalgia. Is this some kind of joke? I asked, half expecting him to burst into laughter. But Dave was just as shocked as I was, his face a mixture of awe and horror. We didn't know whether to call a tech exorcist or a music producer. The typewriters clattered on, shifting from the Backstreet Boys to NSYNC, to 98 Degrees, each transition as seamless as a DJ at a retro dance party. After what felt like an eternity of 90s hits, the last typewriter clacked to a stop. Dave and I stood there in stunned silence, the room filled only with the sound of her own incredulous laughter. Well, Dave finally said, scratching his head, I guess the typewriters have a type when it comes to music. And that's when I realized that sometimes, having a collection with a mind of its own can really sync up your day.